What is the Pythonic way to detect the last element in a for loop? I like to know the best way, more compact and Pythonic way, to do a special treatment for the last element in a for loop. There is a piece of code that should be called only between elements, being suppressed in the last one. Here is how I currently do it. Is there any better way? Note, I don't want to make it with hacks such as using reduce. Winky face.
Most of the times it is easier and cheaper to make the first iteration the special case instead of the last one. This will work for any iterable, even for those that have no len. Apart from that, I don't think there is a generally superior solution as it depends on what you are trying to do. For example, if you are building a string from a list, it's naturally better to use str.join than using a for loop with special case. Using the same principle but more compact. Looks familiar, doesn't it? Smiley face. For idofco, and others who really need to find out if the current value of an iterable without len is the last one, you will need to look ahead. Then you can use it like this.
If you're simply looking to modify the last element in data_list, then you can simply use the notation. However, it looks like you're doing more than that. There is nothing really wrong with your way. I even took a quick glance at some Django code for their template tags, and they do basically what you're doing.
The code between is an example of the head-tail pattern. You have an item which is followed by a sequence of between item pairs. You can also view this as a sequence of item between pairs followed by an item. It's generally simpler to take the first element as special and all the others as the standard case. Further, to avoid repeating code, you have to provide a function or other object to contain the code you don't want to repeat. Embedding an if statement in a loop which is always false except one time is kind of silly. This is more reliable because it's slightly easier to prove. It doesn't create an extra data structure, i.e., a copy of a list, and doesn't require a lot of wasted execution of an if condition which is always false except once.
Although that question is pretty old, I came here via Google and I found a quite simple way: list slicing. Let's say you want to put an AND between all list entries. This returns 1 and 2 and 3.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.